Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Good morning. All right, I see some familiar names in the chat as well. So, good morning and welcome back to some of you to the Mind for Mood Summit by Naluri. My name is Kathy, and I'll be your host for today. And now I am just going to share that in view of the World Mental Health Day earlier this month, we are doing a string of 6 webinars yesterday and also today. So some of you have noticed that some of you have attended the webinars yesterday. Hope that you got some insights and good time sharing with each other along with the speaker as well. However, we do have 2 more webinars happening later on today. So if you haven't already, do check it out. And if it's aligned with you and you're available, feel free to scan the QR code or the link that I sent in the chat box earlier to check it out and register. Alrighty. So before we welcome our speaker for today, I just wanted to go through some housekeeping rules. So as always, we are not able to see you or hear you as part of the audience. So if you do have any question or any thoughts that you would like to share, feel free to just share it with us in the chat box. And there will be some polls and some survey later on as well. So feel free to interact with the platform as much as possible. Now, if you do have any technical difficulty, first option is always to refresh the browser. And so usually more often than not, it will be resolved when you refresh the browser and come back to this window again. All right. Now, I think last but not least, I just wanted to remind you to be your curious self. We are all here to just learn from each other and from the speaker. It's all interactive and it's all about sharing. It's a platform for you to absorb as much as you can. And last reminder is please be kind and polite to each other in the chat as well. All right. So now I would like to invite and introduce Lydia, who will be sharing with us about finding purpose and productivity at work and what it looked like. So Lydia is one of our executive coach in Naluri, and she is also, oh, there you go, there she is. Yeah, she has a law degree but decided to become an executive coach instead. So if you're curious about that, do ask her in the chat for later in the Q&A. All right, without further ado, over to you, Lydia.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you for such a nice introduction. Hello, everyone. Hello, friends. And I welcome you today on our webinar. As Kathy said, let's communicate with each other because this session, I can't see you, unfortunately, but we can communicate through the chat. So please share your comments, feedback, questions along the way. If I can't address some of the questions during the webinar immediately, I will definitely come back to them later after we finish the main parts and we get to the Q&A session. Well, let's just look quickly at the objectives. What are we talking? What are we exploring today? So we are trying today to find, or maybe you found already, and get closer to the purpose and how to stay productive. So we're going to explore the vital roles of purpose and job satisfaction because they are very tightly linked together. We're going to redefine a little bit purpose and productivity in the current realities because we're living in a very fast-paced, rapidly changing world. We're going to explore how our values impact our purpose, our job satisfaction, and we're going to look at our mental reframing, mood, emotional regulation, our inner state, and how our inner state impacts how we feel, how satisfied we are with our work. Do we feel the purpose in our life or not? Well, and I'm going to be sharing, besides that, I'm going to be sharing a lot of practical tips to explore your purpose, explore your job satisfaction, and to get better self-awareness and increase your self-understanding. And you will get these slides after, so you can use all these tools to explore yourself, explore your current work and career, and see where are you right now. Okay, so let me start with a very simple question. So how are you feeling? How are you feeling lately? So either you can resonate with one of the pictures here on the screen, or maybe you can just, if you don't resonate with any, two, I can see two. Okay, two, two, two. Well, two and four. Or maybe if you don't resonate with any pictures, you can just type how you've been feeling, your emotions. Wow, a lot of twos. You've been feeling really tired and exhausted, maybe demotivated. Four means like, what's going on? Where am I? Frustrated. Oh, I can see someone is feeling three. Yeah, so like busy, engaged. Okay. Okay, three, two, five, four. Okay, a little bit of more variety. I can see we have some mix and match here. Even someone feel one, like more accomplished, energized, looking forward. But I see that the majority of us feeling a bit tired, maybe burnt out, maybe demotivated, not looking forward. But still, we get some three, feeling engaged, busy, working, in the middle of doing things, and quite a bit of four, like maybe a bit annoyed, a bit irritated, a bit not happy with how things currently are going on. Okay, okay. Thank you so much for sharing. It's always good to connect with ourselves and to understand how are we currently feeling, what's happening with us right now. Because so many times we just go on autopilot and we even forget to reconnect with ourselves. So it's very important, like, how am I doing today? Like, what can I do to myself, like, to feel better? Is it okay to feel like this on a long period of time? Well, no wonder we all feel quite tired and exhausted. Not all, but sometimes, and some of us. But this comes and goes, I would say, like ups and downs, because all of us, sometimes we feel sometimes more tired, sometimes less, sometimes more burnt out, because we are living in a quite a demanding world right now. I'm sure from every corner you hear the word VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. But I always want to say, not ambiguity, but anxiety, because our world is changing so fast. Things are not stable. We don't know what's going to happen on a big scale of things, right? So many political events going on, economic, the technology revolution started and never ending. There are so many concerns how things going to be on the career landscape in 5 years time. Like, am I going to be replaced by artificial intelligence? What's going to be happening with my profession? There are so many things to intake. Maybe you can share with me, what do you think is your current biggest challenge in these realities that we live in? The world of volatility, rapid digitalization, technological revolution, hybrid work models, social media and mass media influence. Like, where do you feel is your current challenge in this world, like to keep up, to catch up, or maybe it's some anxiety? Okay, hybrid work mode. Okay, thank you for sharing. Growing up children, I'm sure it's not easier. Technological revolution. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's everything is happening so fast. Because I remember myself when I started my career in 2007 working in a bank. After I finished my working day, I would just switch off my personal computer. That time I didn't even have a laptop. There was no work cell phone, and that's it. I'm done for the day. I don't think anyone could ever even find me from my office after my working hours are over. But less than 20 years passed, and things are so different right now. I can see some of you, Abdullah, like sharing balancing work and self improvement. A lot of things going on. Catching up, tech, and age factor. Exactly. Like, we feel like we always need to catch up. Societal changes. Yes, exactly. We are not the same as we were even 5 years ago. societal changes. I can see a lot of people can relate to that. Yes, yes, the society is changing. The norms in society are changing. How we feel, what is happening with us, outside of us, is very different. Work life balance. Yes, yes. A lot of pressure that's coming to us because the speed is very fast, because we have so many things on our plates and the world is changing, but it's still us. We still our human beings. We don't have artificial intelligence incorporated in our brain yet. We like cannot work on a double speed or something, right? We still need to balance ourselves out and set realistic goals. Well, what do you think would be the best? How to cope with this? I would just say avoid. Get a one-way ticket to Timbuktu and just forget about the fast-paced world. Just live there under the palm tree and and forget about all the troubles in the world. What is your solution? What do you think we need to do or can do? Or maybe we can combine some of the approaches here. Adapt, adapt. Sometimes I feel like I want to leave everything behind. And you know what? Maybe it could be the right choice, because it's important what's right for you at this point of time, at this point of life. Also, leaving everything behind doesn't mean that it's wrong. Adapt, accept, and adapt. Yeah, why? Of course, I guess we have no choice sometimes, or we feel like we have no choice. And it's better, instead of resist, like what you resist gonna persist. Go with the flow. See how can we cooperate, collaborate with the current realities to take the advantage, to get the best out of it. Avoid and alter. Yes, yes, that's an interesting approach. And it means how you going to avoid this, how you going to alter. You're going to change. Are you going to change yourself? Can you change things that are happening around you? Thank you so much for being so active and sharing your thoughts here. That's really great to see your responses. Let's move forward. Well, since our world is so massive and so many expectations on ourselves, so many demands, there are things that we still can control. And of course, things we can't control, like environmental changes, political landscape, pandemic, things that's happening on a macro landscape. But what can you still control? What is within our control here? What can we do to make ourselves feel better, more empowered, more that, okay, I also have some control over my life? What is this? Please share also, like, what do you think is still within your control that give you that sense that you are getting a grip of your life, that you have like certainty in your life? Our mindset. Thank you, Adila. Yes, our mindset, how we perceive things. What do we think? Positive thoughts, our inner state. No matter what's happening outside, we can still work on what's happening in our inner world. Yes, yes, absolutely. What else can we control besides how we think, our mental framing, besides our thoughts? We shall be able to control something. Perspective, very interesting how we see things. Environment, maybe they say we can't change people around ourselves, but we can change the people around ourselves, right? Sometimes we also have the choice where to be, in which context to be. We're not a victim, not a prisoner of every situation. We have control. It's very important to remember that we have a choice at every given situation. Sometimes this choice is scary, but we can take this control in our hands and feel more empowered. How we react, how we respond, our attitude, our behavior, exactly everything that is driven from us outwards. We can put the priorities there. We can set the boundaries. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, friends. That's such a great sharing. Well, one thing that we can control is what we do, our job, our career, our occupation. This is where we can execute our choice. So job satisfaction can be your personal anchor of control. And some of you might tell me, how can I be satisfied with my job when I have the workload, which is so crazy, when my boss is micromanaging me, when my colleagues are always missing the deadline? And of course, there will be always things that's happening outside of the zone of your control. But there are still things that you can reassess and reevaluate that can give you that sense of understanding what you're doing, how satisfied you are with your current job. Well, you see here, it's a very simple model. It's called paid model. So the core of it is purpose, and it's the most important aspect to feel satisfied with what you're currently doing. So ask yourself a question: what aspects of your job feel most meaningful to you? That question you can always ask yourself to get back to your job, to understand what is meaningful about that. What aspects fulfill you, give you energy, makes you feel good about it. And now the bigger circle here is autonomy. Is how much decision making power, how empowered are you in your job? Can you make an impact? Can you make a difference? In which aspects of your work do you wish you had more decision making power? Because when we know that we can have an impact, we can make a difference, we are empowered, we feel better about what we currently do because there is a part of us in this process. It's not solely imposed by someone else from outside. And if we have decision making power, we can make an impact, create an impact. So you can think of a time when your work made a difference to someone. What did that mean to you? What was that? How was that done? And of course, to feel good about our job, to feel purposeful, meaningful, we need to have a potential. Where are we going? What is the development? Where is this path leading me? What project or responsibilities could stretch your abilities and help you grow? And growth could be in your career, it could be promotion, it could be another bigger role, but it also could be growth in your skill set, growth in your competencies, capabilities. What can you do? Cross collaboration, it could be horizontal, it could be vertical. As long as you see that you are developing, there is a potential for you. Well, this simple model you can always use to reassess your current job satisfaction and to understand what is happening with your job right now. Another question to you. So we're going to do the poll here. Which of the following best describes your current level of job satisfaction? Very satisfied and aligned with my values, like really good. Somewhat satisfied by struggling with motivation. Neutral, jobs feels routine. Unsatisfied, seeking more purpose. Actively disengaged and unhappy. Okay, so I can see some answers here. Well, so far we have the leader, two leaders actually. No, now one, somewhat satisfied but struggling with motivation. So getting closer to being satisfied, it means getting closer to having that feeling of job satisfaction, job fulfillment, knowing your purpose, having autonomy, having an impact, knowing that there is a development forward for you. Okay, 43%, 42% somewhat satisfied. Then the next one is 27% neutral. Jobs feel routine. That's what happens when we kind of lose sometimes the meaning of what we do, or maybe our passion is not there, the motivation drops, the morale drops. We go, we work, we do everything that we're supposed to do, but there is no emotional connection. You see, the emotional connection is neutral. The job is not bringing you positive emotions, not fulfilling you. Okay, then the third one is unsatisfied, seeking my purpose. So you are looking currently for your purpose. You're still in that process. Or maybe you had purpose before, now you're trying to find it. Then very satisfied and aligned with my values, which is supposed to be the best, right? 11%. And actively disengaged and unhappy, 5%. Thank you so much for your answers. Let's move forward. Let me ask you another question. Let's move back to our chat. Do you know your purpose? Very simple question. Yes or no? Could be somewhere in between. Maybe you're like, I'm getting closer. I'm kind of starting to figure it out. Like I'm almost there. Or maybe like I really lost it. How do you currently feel about your purpose? Because the purpose is the main target, this main core of the model of job satisfaction. Purpose is really essential for us to connect with what we do. So please share in the chat, do you know your purpose? What is happening with your purpose right now? I can see there is a lot of silence. Everyone is thinking about the purpose. Where is my purpose? Do I know my purpose or not? And maybe it can come intuitively to you. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Yes, to support and help people who need support. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. So it means it's somewhere there, needs to understand what is giving you that sense of purpose. Yes, I don't really know. And it's okay not to know. Still searching, trying to figure out, lost. I'm not quite sure. No, honestly, I'm not sure. And it's okay not to know. I know my purpose, be there is bound responsibility to undone my purpose. Okay, that's an interesting comment. I think I need some time to process it. Thank you for sharing, Samantha. Fresh graduate for me now is to learn and gain experience from the company I'm doing, but worried I'm on the right path or not. Yes, we all have different purpose at different stages of our life. I know my purpose, but I'm not at the right place for it. Okay, that's already one step forward. The next thing is to find the right environment. Lost. Yes. Have fulfilled long time ago. Need to find new purpose. Yes, but sometimes lost. I can hear the word lost a lot. So when we don't have that purpose, like an anchor, meaning of what we do feel lost sometimes. Currently feeling I don't belong here. And it's good that you can identify how you feel, because knowing how you feel is a first step to move closer to being where you want to be. Thank you so much for sharing. Um, well, yes, we all understand that purpose gives us the higher meaning. That what makes you wake up in the morning, what motivates you, what brings you certain passion, positive emotions, and it goes beyond ourselves. So what is the impact we bring to the world, to people around ourselves, to the environment, to the country that we live in, to the industry that we're working in, anywhere? But when we see this impact, when we have that sense that we achieved something, we did a service to something or to someone, it boosts a lot of happy hormones. It creates the feeling of fulfillment and accomplishment. One way to look at the purpose, let's break down purpose a little bit, because purpose sometimes seems so grand. Purpose shall ideally comprise these elements. There shall be passion. You need to like it. There shall be emotional connection with what you do. Maybe not every day, not 100%, but 70, 80%, you need to like it. There shall be positive emotional attachment to what you do. Abilities. There shall be skills for you to do it. I can do it. It means I have the control over it. This is something that I'm good at. And sometimes you are not there yet, but this is something that can be learned and advanced. Values. We're going to look at this closer in a little while. How your purpose, what you do, is aligned with your current values. What is important for you right now? Maybe your current value is financial independence and you are doing charity work. There would be some misalignment. Maybe your current value is mental health and well-being and taking care of your sleep and work-life balance, and you are at the current project that takes the last piece of soul out of you. Maybe there is some misalignment in values. And the environment. Purpose also connects to the context where you exercise your purpose. What is around you? What is the context? Is it healthy environment that you would like to be in? Is it a bit toxic? Do you like this industry? What is your current company doing? How is it aligned with your mindset, with your values? So this very simple PAVE model helps to assess your sense of purpose at work. Another way, I'm sure, how many of you know this model, Ikigai? Have anyone ever tried to do this self-discovery, self-understanding through Ikigai? That's another great model to understand where are you right now, to do some self-reflection. Thank you for sharing. Yes, yes. Newman, Samantha, yes. So that's a great Japanese technique that helps you to self-reflect, to take time, and to really understand what you love, what you're good at. So what you love is your passion. What you're good at is your skill set, your professional educational background, what you can be paid for. Basically, how relevant is what you love and what you're good at? Can you earn money doing this? And what the world needs. Basically, what is relevant right now? Like, how demanded is this work right now? What is happening on the market? So sometimes, because a lot of you message that you feel lost, that's one thing that you can do. You can just sit down, take a piece of paper, start answering these questions on the outer layers. What I love, what I'm good at, what I can be paid for, what the world needs. And then you can start to look for the similarities, for the common patterns, and get closer to understanding yourself. This understanding will prompt the actions to move closer to your purpose. So please have a look at it. You can have it later in the slides or just download it from Google and use it. It's a great tool for self-awareness and self-understanding. Let's look a little bit at the values here, because the values are so closely connected with the purpose. Like, when was the last time you reassessed your values? Or do you even know your values? Sometimes we just go through life. Like, do we really take time to sit, have a cup of coffee? Okay, what are my current values? What is happening with my values? I work with coaching clients who come to coaching and something doesn't work for them at the current workplace. And then many times we start to look at their values. And many times there is certain imbalance between their values and what they're currently doing, their values and the values of the company. Maybe it was aligned when they joined, but after 5 years of working, these values are not there. They are misaligned. So values motivates us. This is something that is really important to us. They inspire us, and they can change. They can be contextual, situational. What is actual for you when you just graduated the university is not the same after 15 or 20 years of work in corporate, for example. Well, let's have a look at some of the values. And can you name maybe top 2, 3 values in the chat? Like, what are your main values right now? Maybe it's creativity and innovation, and this is something that's really important and interesting for you. Maybe it's mental health and taking care of yourself. Maybe it's learning and moving forward. Maybe it's professional growth. Maybe it's financial stability and security. Maybe it's finding my purpose and passion. My purpose and passion are my values. Like, what are your current values? Let's just share some of them. Adventure. Interesting. And of course, this list here, it's not everything. There are so many values out there. You can go and find them and Google them just to get a better self-understanding. What is important for you right now? Risk-taking, self-respect, balance, calmness, integrity, health and beauty. Amazing. So many interesting values out there that we feel are important to us. And when we feel connected with these values and we do something that is aligned with their values, we go in the moment of flow. We thrive because that makes so much meaning to us. Passion, balance, animals, peace, curiosity, learning new things. Wow, so many feedback, adventure, happiness, responsibility, cooking, growth, spirituality, empathy, responsibility, privacy, balance. I can see the word balance a lot. So balancing, finding the harmony in your life, leadership, responsibility. It's very good that you're doing this right now. Even after our webinar, you can just sit down, take a piece of paper, do the ikigai, for example, and write down your top 3, 5 values, and just think, how is your current life and work aligned with these current values? Where is the connection? Adventure, happiness, freedom, growth, learning, love, kindness, honesty, independence, quality. Thank you so much for this great sharing. Let's move forward. Another way to self reflect, just like generally self reflect on what you're currently doing. Ask yourself very simple questions. What do I want to do more of in my daily work, in general, in my career right now? What brings me pleasure, satisfaction, fulfillment? I want more of this. What do I want to do less? Prioritize, separate. What type of work fulfills you the most? What does an ideal work day look like to you? Take a note of these questions. These are very simple questions that you can ask yourself to understand what are you currently doing that gives you energy, drains your energy. Because productivity, it's not only about time management and task management, it's a lot about your energy management. So how can you get a different angle? Reprioritize, work on your time and task management to do more things that you like, to do less things that you don't like. How will the ideal day look like for you? For example, some of us are more productive in the morning. Some of us are more productive, I don't know, after cups of coffee, and so on and so forth. So always get back to yourself and anchor in your feelings, emotions, and how you feel. Trust yourself in this process. Another way to look at your purpose is to, of course, ask yourself a question, why? Like you see here, goal number 1, goal number 2, goal number 3. Doesn't have to be 3 goals, could be 1 goal, doesn't matter how many goals. But when you set another goal for yourself, for your performance, for your productivity, for your job, next career step, start asking yourself why. And not just one time. You see how many layers are here? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why do you want this goal? What does it give you? For example, goal number 1, I want to be a career coach. Why do I want this goal? I want this goal because I like working with people. Why do you want this? What does it give you? It gives me the sense of accomplishment. I like to connect with more people. I like to make an impact. And why do you want that? What does that give you? This is my passion. This is my dream from long time ago. I like psychology. I love this industry. I'm super, super passionate about that. And the last question, what will this goal help you feel? That goal will help me feel happy, alive, fulfilling my purpose. So you see how many layers are there between the initial goal that we set, and then finally when we uncover so many layers, like why are we really doing that? Because this is from where our motivation comes. And then final is the emotion, because we want to feel a certain way doing something, and we want to feel usually good, positive, meaningful, fulfilled, energized, optimistic about things that we're doing. So this is another way to uncover your purpose. And like some of you answered, I really don't know, I feel lost. And sometimes asking yourself why, I really don't know why, I can't understand. Because the workload is high, we do so many things, and sometimes we don't see the tangible results of what we do every day, but we all do so many things. I also hear from my coaching clients that I feel like I work 24/7, but then I don't see the results of my work. I don't see the achievement. It's good to break down a little bit what you do, because we have so many functions. We have so many problems to solve. Every day we are doing something. Don't disregard that, and don't diminish your achievements. So we can look at the purpose at a different perspective. What problems can I solve, or what problems am I solving now every day? What problem am I good at solving? These can help to find purpose in everyday work, in your career, because sometimes we just lose it. So many things going on. The scope is so big. Who is your audience? Whom will this serve? Who are these people I can serve? So the problems that you solve, who can benefit from it? And how I do this? How can I solve these problems? So this formula, also take a note of it. I help someone, for example, I help corporate executives with career related issues through career coaching. For example, apply this formula to yourself, see what comes up, and it will be very, very interesting, because there is a lot of purpose in what you do. Well, purpose is great, productivity is good, but it's also very important what's happening inside of us. So a lot of you mentioned that things that we can control is our mindset, is our perspective, is what's happening in your head. What are you telling yourself every day? So you see this model here: thoughts, feeling, behavior is a never-ending loop. Thoughts makes us feel certain way. For example, I'm afraid of public speaking. I will never learn how to do this as good as my colleagues. They are so natural, they can improvise, they are so confident, their voice projection is so good, and I compare myself with them every day. How will it make me feel? It will make me self-doubt myself all the time. It will make me feel miserable, shy, nervous, anxious about my next presentation. How will it impact my behavior? I'm going to feel not sure. I'm going to feel worried. I'll probably go out there. I'm going to be in a fight or flight mode, and it's going to reinforce my thoughts that I'm not good at it. So you see the connection here. You know, they say the quality of our life depends tremendously. I think one of the philosophers said that. I really can't remember who. The quality of our life depends tremendously on the quality of our thoughts. Are you your best friend or your worst enemy inside yourself? What are you telling yourself every day? We are not perfect. I'm sure many of you criticize yourself. I criticize myself. I blame myself so many times. But what's the benefit of it if we go down that loop? Or maybe we shall focus on the solution thinking approach that will make us feel more in control, more empowered, more optimistic, more hopeful. So let's move forward with this. And of course, our belief system, our thoughts, when you fall into the negative mind frame, how to reframe it. Any negative thought, self-criticism, self-doubt, self-blame is basically a dead end. We need to reframe it into the self-acceptance and self-love. Let me ask you, do you feel sometimes negative in your mind? Like, do you find yourself criticizing yourself, talking badly about yourself, not liking yourself, feeling like other is doing so well and they really got the, like, really the grip out of it? You know, they have their perfect routine, work-life balance, they exercise, they take care of their family. Well, I'll tell you, this is an illusion. We are all imperfect. You can't win them all. Some days it goes smooth, everything is okay, things are getting done, you progress. Some days it's just not happening. You didn't have a good night's sleep. Maybe there was some troubles at home. You got stuck in a, I don't know, worst traffic jam. things happen and it's not always your fault. And because we tend to blame ourselves and to really criticize ourselves a lot, and I can see a lot of confirmation from the chat, you saying always doubting myself. Yes, yes, yes. Self criticism, self blame, negative self talk. Negative self talk is not focused on the solution. Negative self talk is focused on bringing you down. What's going to be the opposite, for example, of self doubt? Self belief. I believe in myself. I know that I'm not perfect. I'm perfectly imperfect or imperfectly perfect. And I accept myself with my flaws. But I'm going to focus on how make things better for myself. I'm going to see what can I do, not focus on how bad I am today and that I'm a failure. I'm going to focus that yes, this is the reality, but I can change things. I can be optimistic. I can be confident about myself. And I will never compare myself with anyone else because you know what's happening when we compare? We always compare not in our favor. Everyone else is always better than us. And it only reinforces self doubt and self blame and how inadequate we are. Well, start practicing more love for yourself. And love, we all talk about love, love, self care. How do we love ourselves? We need to accept ourselves. We're never going to be perfect. We all have our flaws. We all make mistakes, but we need to accept. And when we accept, we can take advantage out of it. Because when we focus on our weaknesses, the weaknesses grow. When we focus on our confidence, on self acceptance, we can thrive, we can move forward. Well, I'm sure all of you also hearing it from every corner. Practice self love, take time to switch off, sleep and rest, self reflection, journal, connect with your friends, connect with your family, have a nutritious meal, change environment, go for a holiday. Well, sometimes it also looks like a competition. It's so much pressure to take care of ourselves. We need to work, we need to be productive, our performance, we need to find our purpose. Well, to stay productive, sometimes we need to be completely not productive. We just need to rest. And we really need to allocate time for that because no one going to come to you and give you the paycheck for your good sleep routine or for your meals that you ate today with more green vegetables. No one going to like tap on your shoulder, maybe your family member, maybe your friend, but it's up to you to do this because if we can rest and recover, that's how we can stay productive. I hear from coaching clients like, how do I really switch off? How do I allocate the time for myself? Like take a hot bathtub, put the candles out there, go for Pilates, yoga, gym, I don't know, Muay Thai class. Imagine that there is a boss there at home. I don't know, your manager who will switch off electricity at your house if you don't do this because we always so eager to compromise on ourselves, but we're not eager to compromise on our work. We want to be productive beyond our working hours, but what is actually happening? We're just getting closer to burn out. So very true, Fajar. Rest is a part of training. Yes, it shall be a habit, and it comes from self-love and self-acceptance. We are replaceable. Health is important. Health is very important because this is the source of your energy. And our health really needs to be taken care of. It's not just something that takes care of itself on its own. We need to practice, we need to exercise this. Thank you so much for your hearts. I can see that you can really resonate with that. And we're moving closer to the end of our webinar. So a few tips and tricks of how can you time manage, prioritize, boost your productivity. So one model that you can see here is clear. A lot of time we want to be more productive. We want to be better. We want to manage our time better. We want to improve, but our goals are not very clear. Like, how will we know that we are better tomorrow than we were yesterday? We need to be very specific. What do we want? What exactly do you want to achieve? What is the core challenge here for you? What is the roadblock? Like, what is your challenge with the productivity, for example? Or what do you want to achieve next in your productivity? I would like to be 90% accomplished by the end of the day, or I want to do 50% of my task by the end of the day. Be very specific. List out everything that you really want to achieve and what action can move you closer to that goal. What can support you in this process? And then reevaluate it. So, what are the advantages, disadvantages, pros and cons? Play with it. Which of these options feels more achievable to you right now? Every time we set the goal for our performance, for our productivity, look at the how realistic is this goal. Write it down. It will be so much clearer and easier to follow. And then act on it. What resources or support do you need to get started? Ask for help if you need. And then always reflect back and review. Okay, I can see that someone can hear nothing. I hope everyone else can uh, hear me. Okay. Right, my goal now is my health and family. Okay, thank you very much. I got scared. Thank you. Okay, so so these are very simple techniques and approaches that you can do to enhance your productivity and your focus. Another one is how much impact is your current work doing? Like, like sometimes we do something for 20% and it's having 80% of the impact on the outcomes. So it's very important to unclutter what you're doing. Look at your to-do list, separate, remove unnecessary elements. So there is one model out there, you can imagine it as a rocket ship that's going there into the space. So one leading primary task at this moment is one. It's the major. It's a primary and the most important activity that has the most impact on your current work right now. It requires the most important focus and attention. Then behind it, that will be two most other important tasks, but they are not so primary. They don't have the same impact. They are equally important, like the units of the rocket. There will be one at the top, then two at the middle, and then there will be the engines at the bottom. And then there could be 4 or 5 less urgent but still important tasks that need to be completed. So look at things that you do. See how can you improve your productivity by prioritization, by the impact that your work does. Because what I see many times, we just have the to-do list and we move one by one without reassessing, reevaluating what we are doing. And the last one that I would like to share with you, but before I share, let me ask you, do you use this matrix, Eisenhower matrix, urgent, important, scale? Have you used it before maybe? Did it work for you? Jeffrey, yes. Okay, I'm having problem prioritizing because all my tasks seems urgent with high impact. Yes, sometimes it looks like that, but maybe it's really the time to sit down and really understand what is more urgent, what is less urgent, what is more important, what is less. What can you delegate? Okay, I can see a lot of people using this matrix. This is great. Not use that quadrant matrix, but only checklist. Yes. So you see, when things are written in the checklist, it's very difficult for us also to visualize what is more important, what is less important. We need to differentiate, at least maybe use different colors or highlight. We really need to focus on things which are, okay, sometimes it's super important, super urgent, it's like a crisis. You need to attend right now. Nothing else matters. But then there are things that are important but less urgent. Plan for them, schedule. That's the blue quadrant here. Schedule them for the future. Plan for it. Make an informative decisions how you're going to address that. So it's all about your planning. And then down below, you can see the purple quadrant. So delegate and declutter. The one that's quadrant number 4, declutter, is just the things that you can immediately eliminate from your to-do list. So that's the thing can really make you feel lighter and more in control and more energized, because our brain works that way. Sometimes we like to do things that are very simple, that are very straightforward, but has the least impact because it's just easy to cross them off the list. But actually, we're taking away time from doing things that are urgent and important. Everything is urgent. When everything is urgent, it's the time to sit down and self-reflect on your job scope and maybe have a conversation with your manager and provide a feedback. What's going on? Because also, this is not going to be very productive, always being in a fight or flight mode and dealing with everything at the same time. All right. Although we plan things, but there are always sudden urgent tasks. Yes, ad hoc that pop up causing we can't move by the plan. It happens. It happens. And sometimes there are things that you can impact and control, and you get distracted, you attend to something urgent, but then you get back. Sometimes there is an option to assess how really urgent is this task that someone is asking you to do right now. There is an option to say no, or I will get back to this later, instead of immediately attending to it. Okay, we plan things, but nobody follows them. Okay, but then nobody follows them. How about yourself? Do you follow them? Is it a good plan? What can be better about this plan? Why is this plan not working? Yes, we will share the slides later. Okay, and performance goal versus process goal. Always break down your goals into the small achievable steps. It will just make you feel lighter, easier, more accomplished, that you can see the end of the tunnel. It's not just like a one huge big goals. It can be broken down into several steps. Work with time, work with tasks, work with prioritization, ask for help. If you still feel things are not working out, maybe it's the time to talk with your colleagues, to talk with your manager and provide a feedback on that, because it's not always your things and not always your issues. Sometimes there are organizational issues as well. Most of the time, I have no time to sit down and reflect, always on the chase mode, how to deal with that. Yes, we need to make a conscious effort to sit down and reflect. Even 15 minutes, even 20 minutes could be much more beneficial. When we take time to organize our planning and prioritization, it can give better impact on a long run. Okay. Key points to remember. Take the control and responsibility in your own hands. We obviously can't manage and can't win them all the time. Focus on the things that depend on you. How can you make your productivity better? How can you move closer to your purpose? Remember the paid model? Who remember what is paid? It's purpose, autonomy, impact, development. This is what are the elements in your job satisfaction. How do you look at your purpose with a PAVE model? Passion, ability, values, environment. The slides will be shared with you. Look at the Ikigai, look at your values, look at all the techniques and tools, and take some time to sit down, to understand yourself better, to feel less lost, less confused, more empowered, getting more self-awareness, increasing your self-understanding. Well, I guess that's it from my side regarding the presentation itself. And before we get to the Q&A questions, let me just quickly share with you that if you feel that you need immediate support, you are in a difficult emotional state right now, there is a crisis situation, please take note of this Naluri Care Line support services. You can always access mental health professional to talk and to share what's happening in your life right now if you need immediate, urgent support. So this is one thing that you can do when you really need to communicate with someone immediately, urgently. There is a situation of a crisis. And let's do something right now. Let's take your phone and scan this QR code. We will just do a very quick emotional well-being assessment to see how you are doing right now, to get a deep understanding of your current mental state. So you see a lot of you messaging that I don't have time to sit down and reflect. This is the time for us to sit down and reflect. So I invite every one of you, scan this QR code and take a very quick assessment to see how are you feeling right now, your emotional well-being. Let me do this as well. So this is a very easy way to connect with how you're feeling, to understand yourself better, because when we have an awareness of how we feel, we can move forward from here. I hope everyone scanned the QR code, and please do this emotional well-being assessment. Besides it, there is a Naluri mood journal that you can also access through the Naluri app and track your mood every day, because your mood impacts your job satisfaction, your performance, your productivity, how you feel. Get more in touch with yourself, with your emotions. So please scan this QR code, and then you can use all the benefits of Naluri app and do the mood journal, can track and see how you feel. Sometimes we forget how we feel throughout some time. So that's going to give you a clearer picture. It's going to be like a resource in your hands. Mood is coherent with my working performance. Yes, there is definitely a correlation between these two, and one impacts another, and it's very important to be aware of your mood. If you still feel that you need support, personal, customized support, either of a mental health coach or executive coach like me, we have so many different wonderful specialists and professionals in mental health field, in executive career coaching on Naluri. You can access them through this QR code and book one-to-one consultation to work on your specific, unique, particular situation right now. You feel lost, you're confused, you may be feeling you're at the wrong workplace right now, you don't know your purpose, you're demotivated, anything, or you feel good, you feel energized, you feel like you can win the world and you want to set more goals for yourself. This is also a good agenda to work with an executive coach. Okay, so we have some questions here. Is it true that environment around us affect our productivity? And if it's negative, how could we survive the situation and stay productive? Yes, environment will affect our productivity tremendously. And it's important to make sure what kind of environment are you in and how much it affects you and why it affects you so much. Sometimes we take things very personally and we can't separate ourselves from the environment. There is a very close connection between these two. So you see, the word survive is very strong. It means the environment is not great right now. So you really need to understand what is happening in this environment. What out of this environment impacting you so much that you need to survive and stay productive? What can you do? What depends solely on you to detach a little bit, not to identify yourself with this environment and stay productive? Or maybe you need to make some decisions in your life to get out of this environment. Okay. Um, yes, the environment, because we are social creatures, right? We are so affected by the society, by the community around us. So it affects us, but we still need to preserve ourselves. We cannot vanish in this environment. That's why it's important to separate our own self, our own peace from the environment. Can you talk more about the ikigai? What can the ikigai diagram allow to give any picture and reflect on our inner values? Are we supposed to fill up with values that is closer important to us based on the list of no, these are different. Ikigai is ikigai, values list is the values list. From the values list, you can just take top 3-5 values that are important in your life right now. You live by them and see how your current work, life, anything is aligned with your current values. Ikigai is a Japanese technique to understand what you love doing, your passion, what you're good at, your abilities, what you can be paid for, finding a job, for example, and what the world needs, how actual, how relevant is what you want to do right now. All these questions bring you closer to self-understanding, which brings you closer to your purpose. And if you want to work more on ikigai, you can also have one-to-one consultation. This is something that we can do together and work together. All right. All right. So if you still haven't downloaded the app, please take a moment here to scan this QR code and download Naluri app, because you can get so many benefits and wonderful opportunities to find a way forward for yourself, to improve your productivity, to work on your performance, to address any mental health issues that's happening with you right now. And you will always know that there is a support out there for you. Cindy, are the values applicable only to work or to any other aspects in life? How do we determine what is important to us? Yes, based on your current feelings, based on your current priorities. This is something that you need to really spend some time. And sometime, I don't mean 24 hours, maybe just take half an hour, take a list of values from Google, from anywhere, from Pinterest, and look at them. Highlight what you really feel is important for you at this point of time. At work, could be values, one list. Maybe in life could be other values, but they cannot be completely different and in conflict with one another. Ideally, values are the same for your work and for your life, because your work is a part of your life and they shall all align together. Thank you so much for your questions. Very good and insightful, very interesting questions. And I know that it's not easy to figure out everything, but take it easy, do some self-reflection, understand yourself better. Because once we are clear what is happening inside of us, we are clear with our purpose, with our path forward, with our motivation, things going to get more aligned. We don't want to create inner conflict. We want to create inner alignment. How best to alleviate feeling of guilt associated with not being productive intentionally? That's a very interesting question. So we need to differentiate. Sometimes you procrastinate when you're supposed to be doing things. You are not doing something, and procrastination and not doing something is a symptom of bigger root cause. So procrastination and not being productive when you're supposed to be productive, there is a question why. What is happening? Maybe there is a perfectionism. Maybe the task is too difficult. Maybe you don't know how to do it. So we need to dig deeper into that. Sometimes we don't have to be productive and we still feel guilty. That's usually our anxiety is kicking in, because we have that idea like we always need to be doing something. Sometimes it's not about doing, it's about being. Okay, I can see more questions coming in. Okay, we will share the presentation deck, definitely. What's the difference between purpose of life and values? Wow, very interesting question. What is the fine line of determining them? Purpose and values are very connected with one another. Purpose, it's the meaning of what you do. Why I am doing this? That's the main question. Why I'm doing this? What is the impact to the world? Values, is the one of the elements that form purpose. So passion, abilities, values, and environment, they form the purpose. So they are the elements. So purpose is the bigger two values, like is a bigger part. So purpose is the main driving force forward, and values is a forming element of the purpose. All right. All right. So I guess, yeah, so it's 12:06. Kathy, are you there? Shall we stay a little bit longer, and if any more questions will come, or are we finishing? I can't hear you though.
Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
I think we can take one last question from the floor. I just wanted to, wrap it very, very soon because we are 6 minutes over time. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Of
Any
course,
other
of course.
question from the floor? Going once, going
Last call.
twice. Alrighty. I think there. Oh, there. There's a
Thank
thank you to
you.
you. Yeah. All right. I think thank you so so much everybody, and thank you as well Lydia for sharing your insights and such good practical tips as well about ikigai, the Eisenhower matrix, and how it can really help us practically to achieve and move towards a more purposeful and meaningful work life, and maybe something that is a little bit more balanced as well. Okay, and so I just wanted to encourage all of us, if you haven't already, feel free to click on the give feedback button on your screen so that we can also learn and hear your thoughts on how the webinar went. I'm pretty sure from all of the chats, you guys got quite a good insights from Lydia herself as well. So it would really, really be helpful if all of you can give your feedback accordingly. There's only like 32, only 18% of you have given feedback. So please do so. And last thing before we leave, the handout is already given out. So you can just download it right away. And for those of you who will be attending two more webinar that we have for the rest of the day, I will see you later. Until then, have a good rest of the day or have a good lunch.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you, Kathy. Thank you, everyone. It was such a great session. Thank you so much for your questions, for your feedback. And please come back to Naluri. Let's connect with you again personally, face to face. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.